Hey, the desert level's 3rd this time.
Oh, we were able to...
Not Miyamoto!
We were able to kick him out of the planning room, and he was too late.
see, this is why the Wii U codes are late. Because Miyamoto's got the biggest stink eye way forward. It's like, no, that level's supposed to be a 2nd one. You're gonna third one? Fuck you.
Oh, now you like Risky's Revenge. You hate Pirate's Curse.
You think Risky's Revenge for babies?
This desert section right here was also part of the demo build as well.
Yes, it was.
Just this first section, though. I believe you only had access to the crab, though, so...
Yeah.
No, I didn't play the demo. Did anything feel different playing this compared to
the control was the
demo?
same. Obviously, like...
I think the full version, the control was a smidge tighter.
I haven't played... obviously, I don't think you even can play the original demo anymore, so I don't really remember. But only a couple of things were changed. Like, I think they made it a little bit less expansive underwater, so it didn't feel like here you're playing and there's obviously stuff you can't get as the crab. I believe, if I remember the demo correctly, those areas weren't there because they didn't want you to think, oh, I can't get that when you're playing the demo. It's like, obviously, if you're playing a game like this in full, you're gonna be like, oh, I'll have to go back to that later. But if you're playing a demo, you don't want to feel like that. So, but
oh no, I disagree. Leave them wanting. make them look forward to the game even more.
Man, that reminds me, actually, a completely unrelated thing. In the Crash Bandicoot 2 demo of the second stage, the snow level with the red gem, they actually moved the red gem over somewhat so that you could potentially get it with a well-timed bounce. Whereas that's totally...
but it's just mocking you.
Yeah, it's just totally impossible to do that in the final game. But they
You can get the red gem by bouncing off the sea lion.
It's really fucking tight, but it's possible.
It was well, if it's possible in the main game, I've never managed to do it, but it was easier in the demo because they specifically positioned it to encourage that.
Mm-hmm. Basically, in the full game, you bounce as high as you possibly can off the sea line in the exact right spot, and then you do the belly flop, which gives you just a smidge more height and you can grab it.
Yeah, and if you can't do it that way, there's also the extended high slide jump into a belly flop, which also gets to the red gem, which is harder to do, but it's more consistent. Anyway, back to Half-Genie here. We can get back to Insane Trilogy.
You know what I like about this 2.5D perspective here? The sandfalls over there are flowing up and then down.
Okay, so I died at least 9 times in this stage.
Oh, really?
What,
I didn't die very much at all.
For the same reason.
Checking the sand
I
pits.
was sure one of the sand pits was a secret entrance. Because that's what games like to do.
That's what they did in Pirate's Curse.
They did in Pirate's Curse. And a lot of games that have sand pits like this usually have a secret room in one of those sand falls. To my displeasure, none of the goddamn sand falls lead to anywhere except death.
Well, I never thought of it because there weren't any that looked... I did try one of them to see if it'll let me, like, stand underneath it. But there weren't any that looked conspicuous enough. Like, there weren't any that were raised significantly above the bottom of the screen for me to think, I could probably sink down into that. They were all close enough to the bottom of the screen that made my gamer brain think, okay, I'm probably not supposed to jump into those, you know?
Usually there's some sort of subtle visual differentiation for that kind of thing to let you know. Like, even that one pit you're supposed to jump into in Crash Bandicoot 2, has that. I think it was like it's the one pit where the wooden bridge doesn't completely break apart when the polar bear falls through.
By the way, don't bother trying to get anything here. Just run.
Yeah, you can't.
Just run.
You can't. You will die.
But even then, this thing has rubber band AI.
Yes,
and
it does.
I fucking hate it.
It does?
Yes, it
It
does.
has rubber band AI. You go really fucking fast, you gotta go back down for something. Oh, hello, where'd you come from? I thought I was playing really well. Apparently he plays well too.
Maybe he's friends with the Sonic 4 Crusher.
Maybe. Fuck it. It's stupid shit. And I don't know whether it was just me, and this is more specifically for the PS4 build of the game, but for some reason the monkey really hates climbing on the right side of the walls for some reason.
I never had that
During
issue.
this sequence, but here's the thing, I didn't have that issue when playing the early access backer build. You know, I transformed into the monkey, I was climbing the left and right walls, no problem, lickety split. Then I played the PS4 version this morning, and I'm suddenly slipping off the right side of the walls for no goddamn reason. But only the right side, because the left side I can climb just fine.
And is this just this section or other areas?
Here's a
too?
question.
This section.
Here's a
Just
question.
this section.
Does the analog stick dictate whether the monkey falls off the wall or not?
Well, here's okay. So the way that
using
the
the
monkey
D-pad.
works is that if you don't press any buttons at all, it will start to slide down the wall. That's how it is in every Shantae game. If you hold the button towards the wall, it'll stay there, and I think if you wait too long, it'll start to slide down slowly. So that's how it's always been in Shantae.
Yeah, but if you hold the analog stick away from the wall. what
Oh,
happens?
if you will, I believe you'll just fall down.
Yeah, you'll just let go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it might be that your analog stick is slightly off center, John.
Oh, no, hold on. First off, analog stick 2D game, you sicken me.
What is this, Sonic?
PlayStation D-pad.
What is this?
If
Sonic
it
Classic
doesn't matter
Collection?
whether or not you use it, it just matters whether or not the game registers it.
Every time I use the monkey transformation to hug into a wall, my D-pad is firmly pressed on the direction the monkey is facing. So, don't worry. I played a lot of 2D games. I know what I'm doing. The monkey was just sliding down like his fingers were made of grease.
You know what, John? Maybe you should just get good.
Maybe I should get.
You
You're
should
right.
get
Yeah,
good.
what I'm suggesting is see if the same thing happens if you use the analog stick instead of the D-pad. If it doesn't, then that probably means your analog stick is slightly off center and it's just being really oversensitive.
No, you're
about
off center.
You're a butt. You're a butt.
You're out of order.
I see that you're actually platforming instead of doing what I do and get to the highest point possible and then just
And then bat.
and then bat.
Yeah,
over
that's what I
stuff.
did.
Yeah, no, I do that at certain points here too.
I think I know exactly
'Cause
what. I mean,
I do it. I think I do it coming up.
It's the Alucard
right.
problem all over again.
Only it doesn't cost magic.
there is one part of this game you can abuse that to hell and back for absolutely no detriment to the game. So
I swear the game wants you to use the spider to get that, but I can just fly in.
No, you can use the bat. You have just enough height to get it with
Well,
the
the
bat.
bat's optional, so I think that they're trying to provide you multiple ways to get certain things, which is cool. I think it's, I think maybe what the design for the game is that they kind of think, okay, maybe you're not going to find everything on your first run through, so they design things
I did.
to have multiple
'Cause we know what we're doing.
purposes. I think, what would make it a little bit better is if you could find the spider before the bat, because the bat makes it possible to get a lot of things pretty easily. So, or maybe make the bat harder to find, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, I think it would probably, having both the bat and the spider would feel less redundant if there were no harpy that outclassed both of them, I think is the big thing. But you kind of want to have the harpy as well because, screw platforming. This desert track is one of my favorites in the game.
Yeah, I love this
I
track.
think it's a remix from Pirate's Curse, actually. But I need to listen to both tracks again to be sure. But having no harpy would make both the bat and the spider feel less redundant. But you kind of want to have an upgrade like the harpy in the game because it feels like a final power. Like, oh yes, now I can explore everything. Does that make sense? It's kind of like getting.
It's no different than Shantae 1.
Shantae 1 I think
was the last one you got.
it's supposed to kind of feel like getting the space jump in Metroid, I suppose.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where it's just like, okay, now I've got free reign to find everything that I missed, I suppose.
No longer need that grapple hook or wall jump.
You use the grapple hook?
No.
I was to say, John's probably good enough that he never needs to use the grapple hook.
No one uses
let's
the
not do it
grapple
this way,
hook.
got
The
quick
grapple
kill,
hook just decides to work or decides to screw you over.
It just random misfires.
And to be fair, John, you don't need to use the grapple hook for Dragon.
No, but
It's the fastest way, but
unless
yeah.
you're stupid.
Hey, John, have you ever shoulder tackled Dragon?
No, I want blue suit so bad.
Is that wait?
You'll do it someday.
One day.
You can glitch.
Hey, look, it's this girl. Guys.
I will agree, John, with you that I think that this character is probably the most underutilized in the entire game. Like, it's kind of like, oh man, are you going to have a boss fight with her? Like, what's her deal? Is she a half-genie?
Yeah, I thought she would be the reoccurring villain for this story.
The Knuckles of the game, yeah.
But after this, she just disappears off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I think more with her would have been cool, or at least a real fight against her. Because there are a lot of big boss fights, like physically large boss fights in the game, and those are cool.
The sleeper has awakened.
This is the other apparent boss trend that this game goes with, and it's probably the one I'm least impressed by is the Sonic Rush boss formula.
Thankfully, they only use it twice, so it's not.
They only use it twice. Gotta say though, I don't like this boss. I think it goes on too long.
None of you guys have played Banjo-Tooie. It reminds me a lot.
Hey! We've played Banjo-Tooie. I just don't like Banjo-Tooie.
Oh well, you're stupid. It reminds me of the dragon bosses from those games.
I suppose I could give credit where it's technically due and call it the Klonoa boss method, except Klonoa's bosses were actually kind of entertaining, whereas the...
Well, Klonoa technically did the whole 3D ring thing first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It also did it well.
Have you played Sonic Rush Adventure? Because that game has better bosses than Sonic Rush. It's just worse in every other way.
But it's like you see this entire fight in like less than 30 seconds.
It took me a while to figure out
the
what
entire
to
boss
do,
fight.
For a little bit. I knew you had to do something with the cannons. I didn't know that you had to. It took me a couple of seconds to hit the rock.
The remaining coal, yeah.
Yeah, but the fight doesn't. Your guys are right. The fight doesn't change much after this thing right here, where
meaning not at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I think
this fight needed more phases. Because that's it. That's the entire fight right there. Now you gotta do that for 3 more cycles.
I think what would have made it better is if it had a different attack before it launched the rocks. Like, for the first phase, it does its eyeball shooting thing. And then it immediately goes back to shooting rocks. Like, if it added a new attack after each hit, then it would have been a little bit more interesting.
There is one thing I want to say about this boss, and it's, as nice as it looks, it's certainly well drawn. It looks like it's a completely different art style from the rest of the game.
Well, it's an extension of the sandworms and earlier in the stage.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't look like it's drawn for the same cartoon. The rest of the cartoons here are like it looks like it could be something for a Bravely Default game, but
actually, it looks more like a hellish abomination. Is this? So it looks like it belongs more in the what was the name of the undead world in Pirate's Curse?
The
Run, Roddy Tops.
Well, no. No. The one that literally led you to the underworld.
I forget the name of it as well.
Yeah.
Oh god,
you know
that's
what does
gonna bother me.
You know what does it more than anything? It's the shading. It's very rough looking shading. Like it's got a very almost realistic texture to it.
Course. Like sand.
John, we made it through the entire level without referencing the worst Star Wars movie. Do we have?
One of you guys were gonna put it in the topic title anyway.
To give the boss some credit, they do try to add elements to make it cohesive with Shantae, because the Cyclops element is something that a lot of Shantae enemies have. So, and the eye is the most prominent thing about it. So they at least had that going for it, but I wouldn't say that it's jarring. It's more so that you can tell that this is a very 2D boss and what's supposed to at least be trying to be a 3D fight. The final boss feels like it belongs in this kind of 3D arena a little bit more to me. And they do a little bit more with the fact that it is in a 3D arena. Not that the final boss isn't my favorite either, but I feel like it's a more interesting fight than this is at the very least. Also, the fact that Shantae is the only one with multiple portraits for the most part makes this scene seem a little weird, because she's just smiling throughout this whole thing. Holly, I should say. Like, oh no, I'm going to disappear!
And that's okay.
Yeah, I think her dialogue portraits were a bit of a casualty of her not getting as much story significance as she seemed to be building to.
Bye, Holly. Never to see you again.
I think that she should have gotten a boss fight, because I think I was trying to mention this before. There's really only like one or two small bosses, like where you're fighting something more along the scale of Shantae herself, and those are important too. So like the risky fight is a lot of fun as well. So I think having a fight against her would be cool. And I don't know what they do for her attacks, since she's not technically a Half-Genie, but I think it would have been fun to have you fight her maybe as a phase 1 and then you fight the worm or something. I don't know.
Probably, again, they're probably going to expand on her in a separate DLC chapter.
Probably.
Yeah.
I just hope that they come out a little bit quicker than the Shovel Knight chapters, because, like, I love Shovel Knight. That game's amazing, but I've been planning to record that for BrainScratch ever since it came out 2 goddamn years ago, and I'm waiting. But I wanted to do. I wanted to do the main story in gender swap mode, because I thought it would be cool. We're still waiting for that update. It's been 2 years, and I know that they put a lot of work into the update so that they come out fantastic. And I'm really excited for not Plague of Shadows. That's already out. Spectre of Torment. I'm really excited for that to come out, but. Yeah, I hope that the Shantae updates come out a little bit more swiftly.
I'm still just kind of disappointed that it's just a vanilla gender swap mode and not a proper Shield Knight mode.
Shield Knight, I believe, was one of the possible characters that, like, because the knights that we ended up getting were due to a Kickstarter poll. Like, people voted on the characters that got their own campaigns. I believe Shield Knight was on the list. At the very least, the Enchantress was. But Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, and King Knight were the ones who ended up winning. So that's why. I do think that when they eventually come out with that battle mode, though, she'll be playable. So that'll be nice, I guess. It'll be something. Not much, but something. Oh, okay. So I need to mention this. I'm not a fan of their remix of Scuttletown's theme. Scuttletown's theme is one of my favorites from Risky's Revenge and Pirate's Curse, and I'm not as big of a fan of this version.
Can I just ask what Wonder Woman is doing here?
You need to get an item from her. You trade her one of the
You give her an egg.
You give.
No, I mean like, where did she come from?
She's just here.
I don't know.
You see Wonder Woman, I see the blonde hair and the almost unibrow. I say Helga Pataki, Amazonian warrior.
No, Ryan, what are you doing? You don't get the shampoo first. You get the silky cream first, because then you get more hits per second, thus resulting in more damage per second than if you were to
doing what I want, Ted.
But you're doing it wrong, Ryan. Doing it wrong.
He's at the same stage for both of them, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, but you always want to upgrade your whipping speed before you upgrade your raw damage. That's how I do it in every Shantae game.
Yeah, but you always want to also get the cheaper thing first, too.
Honestly, you're gonna do more damage if you upgrade cream twice before you even focus on shampoo at all. So
no, I'm familiar with the damage per second principle. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can do math.
No, I mean, like, I play a ninja in Final Fantasy XIV. That is my job.
Ninja. Until this game, I was not aware these two had actual names.
I think they're mentioned somewhere in Pirate's Curse, but it's really obscure.
Oh, I remember these two. They're the ones who took a bath and spit.
Yeah, spit bath.
Yeah. I don't think you need to get They basically say that if you use the fire on the gator enemies in the factory, they'll drop gator steaks. I don't think you need to get the fireball and use it, but it's just a much rarer drop.
It's a much rarer drop.
You can get gator steaks normally, but using fire is a guaranteed drop.
Yeah, so you speedrunning people, if you want to guarantee
kill
some
it with
stuff,
fire.
you better get the fireball before you go to the factory. So, speedrun routing. Thanks to BrainScratchComms. You're welcome.
New Game Plus, jump over the factory.
No, I honestly, I don't like watching New Game Plus for Shantae, because I like watching the zigzaggy routes. I find that much more interesting than just being able to get everything on the first run. Blah.
Or just use the harpy and fly over the entire stages.